up, people? Joe Winko here, your favorite Hawaiian guy, and here's my next episode of the Rising Talking Dead Joe Winko. And as you all know, I'm Joe Winko, the creator of The Rising Dead, and it's very good to have all of you here tonight. So, a lot of crazy stuff was going on in this episode. There was a gigantic zombie herd. Joe, aka me, but I'm going to be talking in third person, had to leave his house because it wasn't safe being there anymore, obviously. And it took me a long time to film this episode, because it just took a while to make all those zombies, because there were 45 zombies. Well, I created like 48 zombies total. Not all of them were on the lot. I think like 35 or 36 of them were. But I had to fit a whole bunch of zombies on the Sims 2 lot, and I was actually kind of surprised because it didn't really slow down my game that much at all. The scene when Joe opens the door and he sees all the zombies in front of him, the reason why that was slow is because I used Fraps to record it, and Fraps started getting slow and choppy with all the Sims 2 characters. If I would have used the in-game recorder, it wouldn't have been that slow. So thank you all so much for watching this episode, and I'm going to be answering some questions that some people tweeted to me or commented me on YouTube, and I'll be answering them right now. So here they all are. Okay. Question number 1 from Domino. Wait a second, what does that say? It says Domino Summers 82 on Twitter asked, in The Rising Dead, will Joe find a lot of survivors or a little group? And will there be kids in the group? Good question. Yes, they will find more survivors. They will find a different place. But I'm not going to answer anything else besides that. You have to keep watching the show to find out for yourself. Because if I answered every single question you guys had about The Rising Dead and spoiled everything, you guys wouldn't want to watch it at all. So I can't do that. But thanks for asking that question. And another one. From Domino Summers 82. Will Joe go where Axel and Nico are? Yes, but not until a really long time. As you all know, Axel and Nico are in Kentucky. Joe is in Milwaukee, Wisconsin right now. That's where the survivors are. Axel and Nico are in Kentucky, Joe's in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. But Joe's communicating with them on Skype. And with his little iPod Touch thing, he's talking to them on Skype and FaceTime. That's how Joe's staying in touch with them. He actually never met them in person before. They're just Joe Winko's YouTube followers. But keep watching the show and you will eventually find out where that goes to. So, don't want to spoil anything else. Okay. Another question from Quiet Girl Roblox. I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce it. I'll have it popped up on the side of the screen so you can see what her username is. She asked this question. In The Rising Dead, why do Joe's friends want Joe Winko to leave his house if the house is the safest place he's at? Well, I'm pretty sure what happened in this episode kinda shows you why they wanted him to get out, and the house really wasn't that safe after all. Axel and Nico knew that the zombies were traveling in herds. I mean, Joe and Russell were safe at the house for over 2 weeks, but after a while it wasn't safe for them to be there anymore. And Axel and Nico, they feared for Joe Winko's safety. They wanted him to get to a place where he'd be safe, where he'd be protected, because they knew that Joe Winko didn't have any guns. All he had was his machete, and if a whole herd of zombies come in, Joe Winko can't fight all of them with his machete. Actually, I can, but they didn't think I would be able to, but actually I can. But in this episode, Joe Winko got too frightened. I mean, the zombie apocalypse just started, so Joe Winko isn't really at 100% confident yet. But he did escape, and he did make it out alive. So far, he has. Do you guys think he will survive? Let me know in the comments. Gosh, I feel weird asking that question. Okay. The next question is from Nick Whip, aka Gay Candy Bacon on YouTube. And he asked me, hey babe, I was just wondering if you could answer this question in your next Rising Talking Dead Joe Winko. What is the origin behind Joe Winko's red cape and red hat? Well, okay, this does kind of have something to do with the Rising Dead. Well, of course it has something to do with the Rising Dead. What am I talking about? I just wore the cape because it went with my bandana, and I thought, oh, I should add a cape to my bandana look. Because at first I used to just wear the bandana. I didn't even have the wristbands or anything. This isn't even my first bandana either. And second, everyone always thinks this is a hat, but it's really not a hat. It's tied around my head. So, I guess you can call it a hat. I don't really care. I always used to wear this thing like a bandana. I always used to wear a bandana ever since I was a little kid. I'd always wear one, and I didn't know how to correctly tie them. I thought you tied them around your head like this. Because the gangsters, they wear them like this, but they wear them over their face, and they're like pointed downward. So I thought you wear it on your head like this, and that's why. And the reason why you always see me adjusting this thing, because it never sticks up perfectly straight at all, and I'm kind of mad about that. I actually considered just ditching the bandana and ordering one of those cone-shaped party hats instead. I think that'd probably be better, but I haven't really decided yet. Okay. And the last question. I cannot remember who asked me this. I'm really sorry, but I seriously cannot remember who asked me this. But here's one question some mystery person asked me. Okay, here's what the mystery person asked me. Will Joe Winko be seeing his adoptive parents, and will we ever find out what happened to them? Very good question, and yes, you will find out what happened to them. But not yet. Not until much, much later. I already know how it's all gonna go down. But you guys don't know, and you won't know until I finish that episode of The Rising Dead. And it's not gonna come until like much, much later. Well, what you'll find out about Joe Winko's adoptive parents and where they are and everything. You will find out, though. So, yeah, stay tuned for the next episode of The Rising Dead. I haven't started filming it yet, so I don't really have a sneak peek to show you for this episode of The Rising Talking Dead Joe Winko. Sorry, everyone. But it will be on its way, and just stay tuned for it. And, I'm going out of town very soon. Well, actually, tomorrow I'm going out of town. So I won't have time to film The Rising Dead while I'm out of town. But when I come back, I will be able to film The Rising Dead. And I'll be working on episode 3 of The Rising Dead. I still have not built the sets yet for episode 3 of The Rising Dead. Because episode 3 takes us to a new location. I mean, it'll still be in the Milwaukee area, but it'll be in a different location. And it's gonna have more characters being introduced and everything, and a lot of other stuff is gonna be going on. So, my questions for you guys, that girl who appeared at the end of this episode, the one with the fire and everything, who jumped in the back and the pickup and the tailgate, or in the pickup part of the pickup truck, I don't know what the hell to call it. I know the tailgate is the door that you open, but I don't know what you call the truck loading part. The part that you jumped in. Do you think she's a good guy, or do you think she's an evil guy? I mean, yeah, she did help Joe and Russell escape from the zombies and everything. But do you think she has something evil planned for Joe and Russell? Do you think Joe and Russell should trust her? What do you guys think? What do you think she's going to do, and where do you think Joe, Winko, and Russell are going to go? I already know, but I want to see what you guys think. So please type that in the comments, and thanks so much to everyone who asked me questions about The Rising Dead. Shout out to all of you, and yeah, so the next episode of The Rising Dead will be coming as soon as possible, as soon as I get back from my vacation. And it might take a little longer because I also have my college classes starting up in a couple weeks, so yeah. So now, that's it for this episode, but let's take some time to say goodbye to all those we lost this episode. in this most recent episode of The Rising Dead. Let's take some time to say goodbye to all of them. Now. Brought to you by Carmex.
Bring your lips to life with the soothing moisture of Carmex Lip Balm.
So you don't end up looking like a zombie from The Rising Dead.